Good evening and welcome back to Talking Hoops. It's your girl, Coach T, joined by the lovely Coach Mac and the man, the myth, the legend himself, Coach Riley. And we are back. And what an interesting turn of events from the conversation we had last week versus this week. And, we have to start here. Of course, OKC with the get back win. Series is tied 1-1. Game comes on tonight. So we decided to bump the show up an hour early just so we're not competing for viewership, despite the fact that viewership is at an all-time low.
Womp,
This
womp, womp.
are we surprised? This is the lowest viewed finals since they started tracking in 1988.
No,
They
I'm
have
not surprised.
Now, question for you all before we dive into the basketball talk. Do you think that obviously the NBA has a problem on their hands? It's safe to say that, right? Okay, viewership has been on a steady decline. They've added different tricks and things that they've tried to increase viewership through the way that they do the play-in games. They have the in-season tournament that's supposed to be, I guess, matching what they do in the Euro League. And then now the way that they do the All-Star game setup. Do you guys think that it's a bigger issue here at hand as it relates to NBA games, or is it just because it's OKC in Indiana?
Riley, I'll let you go first on that one.
Oh, y'all being nice today.
No, not
Great.
really,
Oh,
but
well, I just think that that you have two teams uh, that other than the young man from Oklahoma City, he's a superstar in the making, but his game is not flashy enough, and their teams don't have enough history. Uh, Indiana does, but it's just a deal where Indiana just got a bunch of blue collar guys with no with the point guard, but he's not. He's just a true point guard, old fashioned point guard, and that don't sell anymore. There are two good teams, uh, but I just think they don't have enough. Uh, they don't have enough stuff with them to really bring about uh, a big time viewership. Think about it. I mean, Shea is he a good guy. That's a good player. He ain't talking any noise like Ant was. Ant Man got put out, but at least he was talking noise. He's athletic. He'll dunk on you. You know, so, those guys just playing good fundamental basketball, which is not good for a finals.
That's fair, Coach Mac.
first off, I love Ant Man. I love the fact that he's always talking trash. If he don't do anything else, he's gonna talk trash. But to answer your question, there's a lot that's going on into that, and I'm basing this information just off of research that I've done in some of my classes. Again, you do have the markets that play a role. Obviously, Indiana hasn't won anything in over 20 some years, along with OKC. As Riley stated, I mean, the caliber of players is not superstar status. So that does play a role too. And then also, you have fans that complain about how players are playing. In addition to, some of the teams are actually using or creating their own platform, and I'll say Dallas Mavericks is one of them. Instead of using like your cable services to view the games, they have their own platform where fans can view the games on their network instead. So they're pretty much cutting out the middleman. So that's another factor that's playing into viewership decreasing. In addition to um, what the NBA is putting more efforts into. You're looking at international players and how they're focusing a lot more on overseas and trying to develop that. So there's a lot of factors that's playing a role, I would say, into the viewership. But overall, if we're just actually talking about the game itself, you know, it's something to watch. It's the finals. It's kind of like, a traditional thing. You watch the finals. So, but is it like Exciting? It depends on what part of the game are we watching. So if you have to ask all these questions when you're watching the game, that's kind of a problem.
It is, especially when we're talking about the finals, right? And based on the professional responses that both of you all just gave, my conclusion is that you said these are two great basketball teams, but it's boring. That's all I heard is that it's boring and nobody wants to watch that. And I get it, right? This is that element of NBA has that part of it that they want to see entertainment. Fans want to see entertainment. We don't, of course, these are two fundamental teams that play together as a team. Everybody is so buddy buddy. So this isn't even a real rivalry. Like we got to kind of
Mhm.
see the LeBron and Steph Curry rivalry that lasted for some seasons. And, it's there's nothing here that makes it a rivalry. But in conclusion, I'll say all of that. In conclusion, I think the people are bored. I
Yeah.
think the people are bored, and watching these two teams compete is a little boring for the fans. But
Yeah.
uh, game two, we saw Indiana Pacers struggle. It almost made you question, should they have won game one, or should this have been a sweep and they were able to steal a game? Um, Especially when you look at the stats. I think that OKC did a really great job of slowing down Halliburton. That is the key. They also forced Indiana into 15 turnovers for the game. Indiana only had 35 rebounds for the entire game, and they shot 73% from the free throw line. So, obviously, not a great shooting night, not a great rebounding night, and then not doing a good job of taking care of the ball and making the most out of their possessions. So going into this next game, do you all see that remaining the same? Do you think OKC's defense is just too much, or do you think Indiana has an opportunity here to bounce back, which we know that they are capable of doing?
I still give Indiana two
Well,
games.
Two? Okay.
Yeah.
Coach
well,
Max says two.
I'm gonna say this. First of all, uh, has it been an argument during the game, first two games? Have they argued at all? Have anybody been pushed, knocked down, hit?
Nope. Matter of fact, I think I went to sleep during third quarter of the first game and woke up like, man,
So,
a
I
comeback.
mean, I mean, did they jump on the rail? Did they walk in the rail face? Did anything happen? So you talk about viewership. It's 2025. People are looking for more than just a solid basketball game. You got to have something extra. Now, the people at the game are looking at the dancing girls or all the things that come with it. But the viewers at home, we need to see something else. At least go to your Instagram or TikTok and make a talk about something. Hey, I'm scoring 40 tonight. Do some Michael Beasley, what he did to Lance Stevenson. Do some of that stuff. That sells. So. Uh, but we talked about one thing I want to say about the game nowadays. I tried to create some excitement by saying that OKC was going to sweep them. I know that Halliburton is too good to be swept. They're going to win at least one game. But what I'm saying is, how do you get beat your first game and then come back and play as horrible as you did in the second game? I don't understand that. So that adds to the people. I don't want to watch it. I mean, I really don't want to watch it. So hopefully they'll may start a fight tonight. Come
Riley said,
come
if ain't nobody getting snatched up, he not turning it on.
look, I'm telling you, be like
He-
Coach Mack used to do back in the day over there at Provine. She used to get them going, get them going. Coach Mack, tell them about it.
We need somebody
Coach,
like
Coach
Draymond in
Angel,
this
Coach
Yeah,
series.
Angel
well,
would not
Brian,
believe. Coach Angel would not believe how antagonistic you were uh, during your high school days.
In other
not the
words, I was pretty aggressive.
not the sweet Coach Mac.
Man, Coach Mack would knock you out.
This pretty face wouldn't do such a thing.
Coach Riley, you telling me Coach Mac was snatching ponytails back then?
Ponytail, weave, everything.
Yeah,
And
that
that's what
there may be some slight facts to that.
and we're not getting any of that in this finals. Like I said, nobody's jersey getting snatched on, nothing. It's like you said, Coach Mac, I think this series really needs a Draymond. We
Yes,
need some they want some action. They want to see a little bit of controversy, right? So going into game 3, who do you guys both have OKC, or who you guys going with?
I'm going OKC.
Okay.
And Coach T, you see how Coach Mack said it? I'm going, okay. And she's not even enthusiastic about her choice.
I mean,
That lets you know that she may or may not watch the game.
and listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, I will give me a nap in between one of them quarters because that's what's been happening. I'll wake
Oh
up
man.
fourth quarter and be like, oh, now we got action.
Now, Coach Mack, did you take a nap at all in the 2018 finals,
Which
2017 finals?
no,
Nah,
mm-mm,
you on the edge of that
mm-mm.
seat, and
Yes,
that's what I say the difference. And you know what though, there is a shift in the NBA, and I think that these two teams are a perfect example of the shift that's taking place, where we're moving away from the super team model, right? Where you have the three superstars and the ball runs through these three superstars, and everyone else is the role player, get in where you fit in. If you really, like you said, these are Indiana's a bunch of blue collar guys, right? You've already said, Coach Riley, there's not nan superstar over there. So
Not now. And I said, not now. Bad enough. Not now.
so with that being said, they don't have that, but it's like they're in the finals right now, right? And we look at teams like Phoenix, who had a superpower, the most expensive roster, and yet they didn't even get to make the plan, right?
mm,
So this is the thing. I think we're moving away from that, and it's going back to what feels like high school basketball, where we have some really good players. The talent might be a little bit more balanced, but everybody's friends and everybody likes each other, and we're passing the ball. And you know what, Coach Mack, it's your turn to go get a bucket, even though I just scored and I got 20. You go get a bucket, and because we're all friends, and it's a deeper bond of friendship. Do you know what I'm
mm.
saying? And that's what I think basketball and the NBA is moving to, and that I don't think that's exciting for everybody.
No, it's not. It's
I
putting me to sleep.
don't.
You
And
know,
we
I want to watch a game where I get to talk trash to my friends via text message. Like I need multiple text messages going on while I'm talking trash to somebody about my team. I can't do that. I'm rolling over, taking me a quick nap, waiting for the game to get exciting so I can finally wake up and be like, "Ooh, that was a good ending." And then that's it.
I do agree. And we had a good comment that came through by P. Shep. Big problem is many in the national media have made this series about brands instead of matchups and storylines, which there are plenty. And also, Halliburton has to get to the free throw line 0 attempts in game 2, but he's taken OKC over Indiana.
Mm,
Now, I have to agree with that. It's not, the storylines are not there.
nope.
Where are the storylines? And I think Halliburton would have been a great storyline to follow, especially off of, everybody was predicting that Jason Tatum was going to get his revenge after Steve Kerr didn't really give him any minutes in the Olympics. And I said, "Oh, you guys picked the wrong light skinned dude. It was Halliburton that was coming for revenge
That's right.
after he
That's
picked the
right.
splinters out his behind from the Olympics. He got his gold. He rolled that pine though."
But Halliburton is good, Coach T. I like Halliburton. I really love him as a point guard. But think about all the point guards that's been in the final for the last 5 to 6, 10 years. You know,
Hmm.
they are exciting to watch, and he's you know
Yep.
he's a good player, but and he's good to watch if you want to learn how to play. So essentially, what I'm saying, we want to see something that just ain't quite right. You know what I'm saying? We want to see. We want to see. I don't want to see Halliburton, be no turnovers and all this stuff. I want to see him miss 10 shots in a row and come back and hit 10 in a row, or try to dunk on somebody, or push somebody, or go in the stand and create a problem like DeMarcus Cousins did the other night. Uh, uh, we need to see some of that.
And it's just a side note. It's a shame for Boogie Cousins. I mean, he just I just call him can't get right. Like life. I mean, he turned into meta world peace in that moment in Puerto Rico, didn't he?
He did.
Look, I got to stick up for my boy Boogie Cousins. Now I coached him in USA basketball, and he and I have a great relationship. When I tell you he did well in the last few years of his NBA career, but he does have a fuse, and if you trigger that fuse, he gonna let you know about it. I promise you. And he is a real dog. I tell you, I love him, but he has some things he need to work on.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. And to be such a great player, he made a comment maybe some years ago that he feels like his departure from the league was a bit unjust, right? Like he was forced out the league. Do you feel like he's a player that still could compete at the NBA level and could possibly and should be on a team?
Name one player that's 6'11", 7 feet tall that can do what DeMarcus Cousins can do in the league right now. Center. Name one, and I'll wait.
I
And
mean,
you throw Jokic in there. You can throw Jokic in there.
they don't make centers like Boogie anymore.
Nah.
Number one, he a dog. He nasty. He like Shaquille O'Neal was. He nasty. He vindictive. He petty. He all of that with skills of a guard, touch, and footwork like a guard, a small
Mm,
forward. So think about it.
Yeah,
Shout out to my
no,
boy because you my boy.
that's a great point. Now, speaking of players that should be on rosters, we have a few players that are looking at some serious roster changes in this upcoming season, and there's two in particular that I wanted us to discuss, and I wanted to get you guys' prediction and what do you think regarding Kevin Durant and Giannis. But we'll go ahead and start with
mm,
KD. Right now, they mentioned that there's a potential for KD. It sounds like maybe Dallas has been thrown around. Um, but what do you guys think about KD? Do you think he one will stay in Phoenix, and if not,
nah.
who? Okay, Coach Max said he's
Nah.
gone. He's not staying at all. Okay.
Nah.
Coach
He's not.
T, Coach T, you got the assistant GM for the Mavericks right there. Go ahead and speak.
What you got for me, Coach Mac? Is there a chance that you guys can acquire KD and Cooper Flag in the same season?
Well, I think Mavs is out, but Houston is an option. I think San Antonio and a couple other teams there are some options, but unfortunately, the Mavericks is out of the question at this moment. But it would be nice to get Katie. I would love to have Katie there. Not sure how that would just really play out with
Mm,
Cooper Flag being the quote unquote star suddenly.
yeah. Hmm.
So, just to try to figure out that whole team chemistry with the Mavericks. Obviously, we got Kyrie out, and now we're trying to bring in maybe someone like Drew Holiday in replace of him now. So our whole roster is just kind of like all over the place. I don't, I,
It
we
is.
don't, we don't know what's going on. We just still trying to figure it out. We still try. We ain't over Luca. That probably would never happen.
It's a huge
We,
hole missing in the roster from that.
it
Hey,
is. So we still
hey,
have Luca.
Coach T, I'm gonna be honest now. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out there. I heard Coach Mack and Coach Nico had these secret meetings going on. So come on, Coach Mack, come
Look,
on,
y'all ain't finna have no death threats coming
come
at
on,
me talking about I talked to Nico. I don't even know the man. We ain't never had a conversation.
don't
Nico,
deny my
who?
boy. Don't deny Nico.
You
Oh,
finna
that
have
Free
is.
me
Nico,
get
free Nico, friend.
look, I was at some store, like some just random, like, travel store had a T-shirt that said "Fire Nico." Like we still making stuff, painting stuff, talking about Fire Nico. We're not letting that rest. So
No, they won't let that one go. And you know what? I don't even think Cooper Flag, if Dallas is able to pull it off and get Cooper Flag, if he ends up going number one, that still won't fill the hole of them
no,
trading Luca. Which, by the way, have you guys seen the recent pictures of Luca?
Luca looking slim, slim Luca,
Luca looking like rookie Luca again, huh?
right? Ready to dunk. Y'all might see Luca dunk this year.
He a cheeseburger or three away to get back like he was.
Well, he
He
about
looking
five
good.
now.
Yeah,
He's about five now. I'll give him that.
Luca done slimmed down. He
He
been working
did.
out consistently. Don't play with Luca. He's still family.
It's a lot of pressure riding on Luca, though. I must say, I do think it's a lot of pressure on him. I mean, any player that goes to play in LA, LA is one of those places where they talk about, you can get caught up in the lifestyle and turn into Kyle Kuzma where you want to date a Jenner and a Kardashian and you just kind of get caught up in lifestyle and you got to remember you're there to hoop, you know. So I think Luca has a lot of pressure on him, but it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back. But I honestly would kind of want to see KD at like a Detroit type of team.
Hmm. I don't know about that
Say
one.
that again, Coach T. I missed that.
I said I kind of would like to see KD and maybe not Detroit specifically, but a team like Detroit. I could see KD coming to and having impact. And I only say that because I feel like Detroit has made tremendous leaps and bounds with their
True.
roster and their play and completely turned it around. But they were missing something. They were
I, I
missing
think
something.
I think he need to go back to Golden State and finish his career out.
Not a
With
bad
Draymond
idea.
Green,
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna mesh.
that's
They had their little battle.
I
That
mean, I think they're over it though.
we are talking about Draymond now.
you're
Let's
right.
let's
And
remember that
KD,
part.
no, let's not forget KD was responding to fans with his burner account and got caught. Now we're talking that's a different level of petty and bothered. So I don't think he's gonna be able to let it go with Draymond when Draymond had some choice words for him.
I got
That
the
we,
solution. I got the solution. This is for real. I'm for real. KD and Boogie Cousins go to Golden State. They'll win this championship next year.
with Jimmy Butler still there is what you're
with,
implying.
with,
Keep
with
Jimmy.
Jimmy
Okay.
Butler. So that'll be the starting five. You got Steph, Jimmy, KD, Boogie, and Draymond. Let's go.
That's wishful thinking, but I don't think Boogie and Draymond could ever be teammates.
I think so.
Might have another Jordan Poole and Draymond situation again with those two. And I don't know if Draymond willing
No.
to do all that extra with Boogie.
Well, he's not gonna do it with Boogie but one time, and Boogie gonna. But I'm just saying that would be a complete team, and that can put KD at a situation where he don't have to guard the 5 man and things like that because he be looking so weak down there trying to guard them big old guys, and just
He's
let it fall forward, and
yeah.
let Draymond play the four and Boogie play the five. And
It'll be interesting. Now, speaking of the Suns, because I just have to bring this up, there were some comments floating around that the Suns said they absolutely do not want Bradley Bill. However, they just re-signed his contract a few weeks prior to saying this, and I don't know how Bradley Bill has been able to finagle a no trade clause and a player option. But
Bradley Beal knows something on the owner.
it, Coach
He
Riley,
got, I mean,
he must have something on Adam Silver because this is
Okay.
this goes
that's
beyond
it.
just the Phoenix organization. How is that possible? How are you the only other player outside of LeBron James that has this option? And what have you done in the last 5, 10 years?
Got money.
That's that is the biggest thing. So it'll be interesting. I think we'll see that entire team start to get broken up. Um, Maybe I'm assuming that they would keep a Devin Booker and try and build around Devin Booker. Do you guys think Devin Booker is a player that you can build a franchise around?
That's my
Ooh,
homeboy. You know, he's from Mississippi. Well, his dad is from Mississippi.
yeah.
I like him, but I don't think he's ready for a program to be built around him. I think he's
Mm,
a good complementary player, a
okay.
very good complementary player. Because think about it, when you talk about a program being built around you, he is a 6'5" shooting guard that can really shoot it, but he don't have the athleticism to go create a shot consistently against those 6'8s. Uh, and then he don't have enough athleticism to go in there and dunk on somebody. So he don't have enough ways to score. And we saw Anthony Edwards struggle, and they're about the same height.
Yep.
And Edwards got athleticism, uh, but I don't think that I like Devin. He's my homeboy. His dad and I are great friends, but I think he's a great complementary player. Think about it. He was just with KD and Chris Paul, and although Chris Paul was a little old at the time, but they had
Yeah.
a solid team that was touted to be the best. Then all of a sudden, they fell off.
Hard.
Fast.
Yeah,
it was
I'm
it
talking
was
about a blink of an eye fast.
it was a downward spiral immediately. Now, okay, I think that that's fair. I do think the same about Devin Booker. It's hard if you are unable to create your own shot and you lack athleticism, that makes it very difficult. But would a player like Giannis make a difference? Because Giannis is also probably looking to leave. We can expect not to see Giannis with the Bucks next season, but where would be a good place for Giannis to go? It's hard. Where would he fit in, and what team would he take over? Because Giannis is not going to be a second option wherever he goes. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not realistic.
It looks like New York. The Knicks is trying to pull him hard. So
And
I
Big
wouldn't be
Cat,
surprised if he ended up there. Cat, yeah.
you say trade Cat away
Probably.
for Giannis?
Yeah.
Okay. And but why is it so easy to trade Cat, or do you keep Cat? Because
I mean,
and have Cat, kind of change their positions around. I mean, Giannis is starting to develop a pull-up jump shot. He's been shooting the three, especially in the second half of this past season. We really saw him kind of expand his shooting range. But why are you so willing to let Cat go?
I look at consistency. So who's more consistent out of the two? And Cat is not consistent. Sometimes you don't even know what he got going on defense. So no, at least you know Giannis gonna show up.
That's fair, Coach Riley.
ever since the Halliburton situation with the dad, his stock
Oh
went down the book.
yeah,
You said his what? I'm sorry.
His stock went down.
Giannis stock went down. And do you feel like his stock would have been up if he did what?
it chopped him in the throat.
That's what.
Yeah, exactly. Look at West Side. West Side. West Side.
So yeah,
Okay.
hit him in the throat. Would have been over with.
Yeah, okay, so we think that Giannis stock would look a little different. So, Coach Riley, when you say his stock went down, what do you? Why do you think his stock went down? You think they view Giannis as being soft now, or what kind of
Look at
what?
you, Coach T. Look how you slid that word in there. You know Giannis is soft. Soft as cotton. I mean, my goodness. But
Maybe
I just look at Giannis and he's such a freakish athlete. But maybe we can't get the Akeem Olajuwons, the Tim Duncans, and Tim
That's
Duncan
over.
was he was quiet, but he would destroy you. So I
Yes.
just look for that type of play from these guys. He's 7 feet tall, can handle it. People get wooed by that, but he's been sitting at home for 2 or 3 weeks now. If he was that
Mm.
great, he should be playing. Uh, and they had a pretty decent team in Milwaukee. But
They
you
did.
know, if you would put Giannis with Phoenix Booker, they'll sell some tickets. But I think that they need somebody else to bring some toughness to that team. Uh, I really do.
So where would you see Giannis being a good fit? What program right now do you think that Giannis could go to and would have an impact with that organization?
Uh, I don't know. I mean, it's he gonna make an impact wherever he go. But I'm talking about a championship impact. Uh,
Mhm.
that's the thing. That's the real deal there. So uh, you know, and he's gonna go and get a championship. He gonna have to compete. Uh, and I don't know. I'm trying to think of Boston maybe because Horford is about to leave. Uh, Boston.
And
Uh,
Boston's not a bad choice because I think they're gonna break up that Boston core.
For
yes.
sure. For sure.
So if you
So
send Tatum away, you can bring Giannis in, and Brown can stay there. Then they still have a pretty good mix of talent.
now for Giannis, they're gonna have to send more than just JT away.
Oh, no doubt they can send the coach away. I don't like the coach. They send the coach away. They send a couple more players away.
Pick one.
Well, what's interesting, speaking of coaches, I find it
Ooh.
interesting of what the New York Knicks are currently doing. And for those of
Getting
you that
getting
aren't aware,
denied by everybody.
getting they couldn't wait to fire Thibodeau. Would you say, Riley?
What was it? What did you say? I missed the first part.
The Knicks, what they're doing right now, they're scrambling as they couldn't wait to fire Thibodeau. And right now, they're looking to poach coaches of programs that are actually doing pretty decent. They've tried to talk to the Wolves coach. The Wolves said no. They tried to talk to Idoku, if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, and the Rockets said absolutely not. And so, they even are inquired about Jason Kidd, and they're waiting to see if the Dallas Mavericks will allow them
Nope,
to
that
have
was
a
denied.
conversation. Yeah, and Dallas said absolutely not. We already did enough letting Luca go. They'd flip the city upside down if they got rid of Jason Kidd.
Trying to tell you.
Well, I hear that Mark Jackson is a potential. Is Stephen A. wants Mark Jackson.
Finally, I mean,
Yeah.
you have so many coaches that are available right now, and you're trying to poach coaches of programs that that didn't do as good as what you did as with the coach you guys fired.
Well, and then what coach would want to go there, knowing that you did all that like Thibodeau did, and then it's going to get fired at the end of the season, and then you dealing with. I mean, who want to be there? Put Spike Lee over there. Let Spike Lee be the coach.
Man.
Well, at least you have somebody who'd be loyal to the soil. But I just found it very interesting for New York to be so eager to fire their coach and then go ask other coaches of teams that he beat.
Hmm.
That's bad. That's really bad.
Is so it'll be interesting to see who actually picks up some traction. But I hope it is Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson is long overdue for an opportunity.
He is. But it's interesting how you get rid of somebody and not have a replacement on decks. But hey,
I guess
what do I know?
they should. They should have took a page out of the Milwaukee Bucks, huh?
You know, have some on hand ready because he was on hand and ready.
Oh, literally, literally, take the advisor and go ahead and give him the head coaching job. So,
On
you
hand.
know, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I just found it very interesting that they're looking to poach coaches, and all teams are saying no, we're good. But fast forwarding, I wanted to talk to you guys about what a lot of NBA players are currently debating right now regarding trainers. And I don't know if you guys have a chance to see kind of all the commentary that's been going on regarding trainers, but LeBron came out, made a statement saying that he never had a trainer, right? He never had a skills trainer. And a bunch of other players, Kenyon Martin and a few other players came out saying that they didn't have trainers either. They just used to go play. They just used to go play. And now they're talking about how much of a money pit that training has turned into because one, it doesn't require any entry level to get in, right? Anybody can do it. There's no restrictions or requirements to get into basketball training. And two, they feel like that it's a decline in the what you're seeing of the IQ and development of the players. While yes, they can do all of these nice moves and dribble, they don't understand the concepts of basketball. And I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that, on trainers, and is it beneficial? Because while LeBron says he never had a trainer, his kids have always had a trainer. Granted, even if it was him,
Mm.
but I know that there were other trainers that worked with his children.
So I'm gonna speak to this for Riley, deep dive into that because I know he got a lot to say. Now for LeBron to say
You
his,
know me, Coach man. You know me.
let me go and get my little 2 cents out the way. Two things. One thing that I know a lot of kids lack is they don't have an imagination. The
Mm,
creativity is just practically non-existent. They're robotic, and it bothers me. And I understand by LeBron them saying, they didn't have a train and stuff like that because they used to go play. That's a huge concept that kids just don't grasp now. You don't see kids out of the park playing basketball until like the street lights come on or past, midnight and stuff like that. They don't just first off, they don't go outside. That's the first thing. Terrible. They don't
Right.
play against greater competition. So you don't see teenagers playing against adults,
right.
which bothers me. And that was one of the things that I mentioned to like some of the coaches here. I'm like, why don't y'all get some grown men scrimmage against the high school players? It doesn't take much. It's free, so it's not like you have to pay somebody to do it. You're developing your players, you're making them stronger, you're getting them better. But instead, y'all out here trying to be buddy buddy, trying to get the next job up, trying to connect with somebody and all this other stuff. Like it's so political, it's ridiculous. In addition to that, now for LeBron to say that he didn't have a trainer, but his kids have one, I'm just gonna leave it right there, and we just gonna sit there and just think about Bronny, and we just gonna leave it there.
Hugo
Here you
Lee.
go, man, trying to be a little saucy over there. Saucy.
How
Okay,
did
you
that work
coach.
out for you? That's all I want to know. How did that really just work out for Bronny? Because bruh, man,
So, and that's what it makes me wonder. Like, so do you feel like maybe your son should have just been playing more, like what you did? You should have been sending him outside, letting him just go play pickup and open gym, like what LeBron would have done,
yes,
and
you
not
can't come in. Don't come in the house. Stay
no,
outside. Stay outside. Don't come in this house.
right. When they lock the screen door on you, and now you
Yes,
stuck, and you got to drink water out the water hose.
yes.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I find it interesting though that that was a comment that was made. I feel like part of the problem with trainers that we're seeing, it looks like Coach Riley's having some technical difficulties, so we'll give him some time to get back on. But what I'm seeing, Coach Mack, is that they're teaching the players how to play one on one. And that is not conducive to actually learning and being able to play with the team 5 on 5.
No.
Hardly ever do you just get to go one on one in a game, right? Even as the best player, you may have a good ISO or a on ball screen into a one on one situation. Let's just say maybe 5 possessions, 5 to 10 possessions, and so I don't think that they understand how to make reads, how to read the
Oh
next
no.
play,
Oh
how to
no.
see
Absolutely
two,
not.
how to see 2 to 3 plays ahead. I think that that is where it lacks and it shows.
The IQ is just almost non-existent for some of these players. Like the things that they don't think about. It's like you can see it ahead, but they don't see it. It's like a lot of them just run right into a brick wall. Like, why would you make that choice? And
It's
like,
the
what are you
decision
doing?
making. Yeah,
Yes.
it's the decision making, but and that's like you said, the benefit of being able to just play and scrimmage and play games. It it allows you the opportunity to learn on the go and get real game situation. Now, Coach Riley, we'll let you go ahead and give your take on the personal training and the individual training and the current takes going on in the NBA.
First of all, Coach Mack, did you see how Coach T cut me out, put me out of the chat? I mean, put me out of the stream. She was talking about drinking water out of water hose, like know anything about that. She don't know. She one of them house people too. She didn't come out the house.
Oh, I lived outside.
And being that sweatbox
So,
gym that ain't got
so
no air.
Oh, we were outside. I was the one that had the hoop in front of the house. So it was everybody in the neighborhood coming down to my house,
Yes.
which worked out for me because you got to be home before the street lights came on, but I'm outside. I'm right in front of the house.
Yes.
so think about this, y'all. Y'all think about this. It's three things that come into play. I think that trainers across the country uh, talking about working you out and things like that is the biggest scam. One of the biggest scams there is going on with basketball and all the sports. Uh, Number one. Number two, when you talk about player development, you talk about. Uh, I look online all the time, and I talk about even Phil Handy, who be doing all
Mm.
this dribble foolishness. I mean, it's a joke to me. This is a joke to me because I understand player development. I don't care if we all three are guards. We have different levels of development
Mhm.
that it takes to be this type of player that we want to become. Now, if you want to go to field hand and learn how to go between your leg, and do a crab dribble and come off a screen and shoot, yeah. I mean, come on, work out. But we talking about tailoring a workout plan for each individual student athlete takes a lot of planning, takes a lot of know-how, takes a lot of skills from the trainer. And I'm gonna brag a little bit because, you know, I'm a national brand when it comes to skill training. I was certified through Nike. I trained KDs of the world, Derrick Rose, and even LeBron. And on a good segue to talk about LeBron, you didn't have to need a trainer. You are a athlete. You are one of the best 5 players in the world. You know, playing easily, you pick up stuff because you are already leaps and bounds over everybody else. But the other 70 or 80% of the world needs some support when it comes to developing ball handling skills, developing shooting skills, developing IQ, that's one of the things LeBron has that a lot of student athletes don't have. He has a high IQ. Case in point, as Coach Mack said, if that was the case, your son has had a trainer since he was 3 or 4 years old. And I could have got half that money, and he'd probably been a hell of a lot better in the league right now.
Whole lot better.
Uh, a whole lot better because you talking about a 6'1" kid. Uh, he has some deficiencies, and
Mhm.
you got genetics from one of the top 5 players in the world of all time. So, but kids nowadays, as Coach Mack said, also they don't imagine, they don't dream, they don't watch. They want to go work out on between the legs, and you don't even know understand the size of the court, the length of the court. You don't even understand the dynamics of the game. You don't understand anything. You talking about let's go work out. You start off shooting threes, can't make a layup. Just so many level of development that that is so. I mean, that's a whole other segment. We can talk about that all day because I would challenge anybody, including Phil Handy, on that between the leg and all that kind of foolishness. It's comical to me.
Yeah.
Do I think a person needs a trainer? Yes, once they have identified their role, their skill set, and the goals that they have to complete them as a basketball player, yes, go get you a trainer. If you want to do this, this, and this, yes. But just to have one, just to go to the gym, call Coach Mack went to the gym. Coach Mack went to the gym. I need to go get me a trainer. Oh my God, help me. And the people out there getting that money too, they getting that money, they
They
getting that money. I just never seen nothing like it.
No, that is such an understatement about getting that money, and the parents are willing to pay anything. And I think a message to any parents that are watching who have children under 10, under 12 that are playing and they're still learning, go outside and spend some time with them. Work on their game. You can do a whole lot before you ever go drop $100 an hour for a trainer. It's
Man,
so
what?
many things you can do. You can, even if you have never played basketball, just go play dummy defense. Go be a defender in front of them.
That's all.
Make them work on their basketball. They have the goggles where it blocks your vision to help work on your handles. I mean, there's so many steps that could be taken before just giving your money away to a trainer who never played past middle school, but they charging $50 an
Right.
hour to work your kid out. It's like
But Coach T, Coach T, let me ask this. I saw this in the chat. Uh, so this myth about playing with grown men, uh, whoever told you to do that, I don't understand. That is for a grown man that's in shape. A teenage young man has no business playing with grown people. Now, uh, if you're a couple years older, yeah, I think that's okay. Playing up a little bit like that, but playing with grown men, the physicality, what you getting out of it?
No,
You,
you thinking too advanced. We talking about some rec LA fitness. We not talking about some in shape. We talking about LA fitness ball where they're equivalent, right? Their in shape is equivalent to that of somebody that's not that great, right? But
but
it's still a
so
different level of.
what's the goal then? What's the goal?
Well, for me, what it helped is one, my own. I've always been an aggressive player though, so that was never an issue for me, right? But the different
In your
with the,
world, aggressive. We'll lock you down, Coach T. But go ahead.
who's we?
Me and West Side, me and West Side.
Let me tell you, you wouldn't jump in front of a moving train, and that's why I say just treat me like that 18 wheeler, okay? Because it's gonna be painful jumping in front of that. But I think that there is even when I would come back home from overseas, I would go to LA Fitness and I would be out there giving them grown men buckets. And the thing is that what it helped with is that even men that are not as in shape, it's still a different pace. It's a
Mhm.
different way that you have to be able to adjust your shot and your
Mhm.
finishes, finishing around the rim. Because if I could finish over you and you're a 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", it's not a whole lot of women I'm gonna play against that are gonna be 6'5".
Yep.
So if I'm scoring, I'm getting buckets on you and I'm able to, maintain my dribble, make passes through traffic of who men who are a lot stronger, faster, play at a different
Mhm.
pace, then when you take that back into the women's game, you're looking at a totally different game being played.
Mhm.
And so I think that there's a lot of benefit that
So
came from it.
what you're talking about, Coach T, is women playing against men. LA Fitness. What I'm talking about is men playing against men. So don't sit up, Coach Mac. I'm talking about y'all. So
Coach Mac.
what happens is this. I'm just thinking about a high school student athlete that's, I'm gonna say he's a Division One prospect. I'm gonna say a mid-major Division One. As a seasoned college player, that's a junior, sophomore, junior, I can see that. I can see that. But playing against a guy that has experience, like a grown man like me, I'm gonna kill him every time.
That's
I'm tell you
good.
what happened.
He need that.
I'm tell you what happened. Listen, I'm tell you what happened. One of our best players in my school, I'm the school administrator, right? So we played a student versus teachers game. So just hear me out. So he coming down the court. I'm playing locked down on D. I set him up, so I just stepped to the right. He crossed over. I just tapped it, went out there and dunked on him. I mean, not dunked on him, but you know. So I'm just saying, what benefit he getting out of it other than getting embarrassed? He got his feelings hurt that he let an old guy like me show him up, and that was a month ago. So I mean,
So let me say this. For you, you may not feel like it's a benefit, but for the underdog, it is. And even when I was in
the
high school, and
underdog need to go back in need to go in the doghouse and start doing some work.
well, that's what you there for. So he can get the work and learn. But now, and now I speak for this because my aunt Kim, she's a lot older, and they played on a semi-pro team. So even in high school, we used to play against them, and how that
Well,
benefited
you
me.
are Hey, Coach Mac, you are different. Name one
Okay,
kid that go outside. Kids
but
don't
that's
go
that's
outside.
the point, and that's the point that I make. Kids don't go outside now. They just rather be either on the video game, they rather be inside of a gym, dribbling the ball 1,001 times, not doing anything but just wasting time. But the point that I make is playing against older people, stronger people, people that are faster, stronger than you are, smarter than you are. That's how I learned how to play. Even being an undersized quote unquote post player, I learned how to play smarter because I played against bigger people. And I understood that, okay, if I take somebody who's taller than me, take them out of their comfort zone, move them away from the block, play them like a guard because you're going to be faster than them. I wouldn't have
Coach
known
Mac,
I played against
Coach Mac,
somebody who was bigger than me, who was
Coach,
stronger than me,
you had
taller
IQ,
than me,
Coach.
and I had
Your
to.
IQ.
It didn't just happen all of a sudden, just born that way. I had to learn.
It
That
was
had to be
developed
developed.
for you.
It
Yes.
had to be developed. So I had to learn that.
Hey, Coach T, whoever Brandon C is,
My
uh,
dad.
uh, uh, talking
Saying
about
fact.
running track, he gonna blow by me.
Right
Look,
right past you.
hey, look,
You
hey, Coach,
you're gonna be
hey, hey,
looking at
Coach,
soles of my shoes.
hey, Coach Mac. I'm like my boy that did Lance Stevens. I got 100K on it right now. We got 100K.
Put it on there.
Now, Coach
Hey,
Riley, I don't want you to end up with the Jason Tatum injury now, all right? Because that's
hey,
you're gonna be
Coach
looking
T,
at soles and
Co-
elbows, okay?
hey, Coach, hear this. You got to hear this. So the other day I did a 5K, right, and
Ooh.
the people out there talking about stretch from the first day I started playing to now, I've never stretched. So I'm just letting you know. I've never had an injury other than I broke my finger playing against some old dudes. That's why I don't play with old guys. And I was old at the time, playing against older dudes.
Oh man. Well, really quick because I know we're here. Game time. Where game time has started, and we are at time, and that time really just flew by. But I want to say this before we go because it was just recently announced, and I couldn't let this go by. But it has been officially confirmed that the NCAA can now pay the players directly, changing the way that scholarships and players are
Oh
receiving
Lord.
funds for playing at the universities. This is
That's just
official.
that's just
Hey,
This
added
look,
fuel to the
Coach T,
fire. That's all. Fuel to the
hey,
fire.
hey, hey, the only thing, first of all, shout out to Deja Milton. She one of my fans. Do you see it, Coach T? She one of my fans. Shout out to Deja. But look, watch this, Coach T. The only thing the NCAA is trying to do is do damage control.
Yep.
I mean, it's too wide open. Now you trying to play some players, which you trying to control. You can't control NIL. You can't control. You can try to control the collective piece of it, but I mean, it's too far gone. They might as well just close the doors, turn the lights off, and just set the building on fire, and
Yep.
just let the NCAA burn
That's
down.
that's all
I
it is. Just adding fuel to it.
my main thing now is that the NCAA, in my opinion, should no longer be a nonprofit organization. We officially have to look at this as a for profit. This is now some form of professional. Getting
Hmm.
paid to play now elevates this to some form of professional play. And also, with that being said, North Carolina, I just want to highlight this because I feel like this is really going to impact the way recruiting is done and the way that players make decisions on where they go and the outcomes and successes of these teams, because you're no longer building teams around what is going to grow the program and the team, and now it's being built around how much are you paying? How much are you paying? Okay, well, I'm going to go there. Even though I know this coach does not play to my style of play, I'm still going to go there because now I'm putting money at the top of my reasons as to why I'm going. But just a number here, North Carolina has already spent $14 million on their
Ooh.
incoming roster. Already 14 million. And
Let me
it's
ask you this, Coach T. Let me ask you this, Coach. If you were coming out right now as a high school senior, and they offered you 1.2 million, 800,000, 1.2 million to go to Middle Tennessee State University in Murfreesboro, nowhere, or either 800,000 to go to Vanderbilt, or either 200,000 to go to Duke. Which one would you go to?
I'll
You
be
going
right
to
I'll be right
Middle
there
Tennessee
in Middle
University?
Tennessee. Yeehaw.
In the
Okay.
middle of
Get,
nowhere.
get my
In the middle
boots.
of nowhere.
I get my boots. I have the lasso ready. Listen, Coach Riley, I'm looking for a year of eligibility right now. Isn't the guy from Tennessee fighting for he ran out of eligibility, but he's looking to try and get a fifth year?
Yep.
If they do a class action, I'm signing my name on the line because I'm
Well, look, hey, Coach T, you got two trainers. Coach Mack and I are gonna be your trainers. So when you get that NIL money, we're gonna be your trainer. So
Hey, I'm
just
trying to
give
be the
us
agent.
$500
I'm trying to be a lifetime agent.
need to sign that lifetime deal, but it's money out there, money to be made, and I think we are going to see. I think it's a slippery slope that the NCAA is riding on as they try to compete and remain relevant with losing, star athletes to other options now. But we will see. And that wraps it up. That concludes tonight. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, I know we said it last week, but we're so happy to be back with Talking Hoops. Everyone enjoy the game, and we'll be back next week here at Talking Hoops on SR 102.9 The Game.